So I just finished watching Gods of Egypt, and I have to say, against all odds, I actually really enjoyed the movie. So, yeah, here's my review of Gods of Egypt.
Who's the one and only master?
I am.
I do feel like I'm putting myself on the line here. I feel like I'm kissing my movie reviewing career goodbye because I've seemed to be the only one out there who seems to actually enjoy this movie. And I understand there's a lot to dislike about the movie. There's whitewashing, way too much CGI, and everything just seems a little bit overdone for the type of movie that it is. But even with all that, I really enjoyed this movie. It reminds me of The Mummy. It's reminiscent of Aladdin. It even feels like there's a bit of a Clash of Titans splashed in there as well. And really what I enjoy most about this movie is really the whole reason why I like going to theaters in the first place. It creates an amazing world that's actually very different from our own, but still similar enough for you to relate. And it puts you into that world and gets you into the mythos, gets you into the characters. And that's always a lot of fun for me to watch and to see this whole world built that's extremely creative, extremely different than what you're used to. And you don't see it a lot in theaters, so I love going to see movies like this. And if you don't know what this movie is about, it's kind of odd, so it's going to take me a little bit to explain. The god Horus is about to be crowned king of all of Egypt. Literally seconds before his coronation, his uncle Set comes into the picture and actually attempts to steal the crown for himself. And he actually succeeds. He kills the current king and then takes the eyes of Horus and banishes him from the kingdom. And so begins Set's plan for world domination. The world is doomed! Or so it seems. Then enter in our Aladdin-esque character named Beck, who actually ends up stealing the eye of Horus from Gerard Butler, who plays Set, and unwillingly puts himself in the middle of this war between these two gods. The unlikely duo set out to destroy Set and end his plans for world domination. But obviously he's not going to make it that easy. They have to go through a lot of crap along the way. They have trust issues, they have differences in opinion because one's a god, one's a human, but they both grow from this experience. But that, in a very brief nutshell, is the premise of Gods of Egypt. The acting in this movie, for the most part, was pretty solid. I would say the exception of Gerard Butler, who just kept his whole Scottish accent the entire film. That I didn't really get, but he was kind of a fun villain. You could tell he had a lot of fun on set. I don't know if that translated well on screen to being a very dark and angry villain. I don't know. He's not one of those villains that you can put a lot of stock into because he just seems sort of like an angry little brother who feels like he didn't get his lot in life and is just trying to fight for that. In a lot of cases, that just comes off as bitter and angry, and you can't really get behind a character like that all too often. I tend to like my villains to have some sort of likable qualities about them. Gerard Butler's version of Set really didn't have that for me. He just seemed like a jerk end to end. Granted, he had motivations as to why he was a dick, but by the time you find that out in the movie, he's already done too much. He's already on this one side where you really can't forgive him for everything he's done. So by the end of it all, you just don't like him as a villain. And on top of that, the pacing is a little messed up in this movie. In a lot of cases, it feels like they're jumping around from scene to scene, and you never get quite enough character development to really feel for these characters that are involved. But I enjoyed the on-screen chemistry of the two main characters. They looked very different because one was a god, one was a human, so it was like one was really big, one was really small. But they had a lot of great on-screen chemistry, and they both kind of grew as the movie progressed. And I really enjoyed seeing them on screen. The main character, Beck, even though that he was a small human that was supposed to be weaker than the rest of them, he actually proved to be a lot of help in the film, and which I like, because they could have easily just kind of had him be in the background, but he was very scrappy. He was kind of a good luck charm in a lot of cases. So in a lot of scenes, he actually stood out, even with the gods there. The fight scenes were really heavy on CGI, but I actually enjoyed how they were choreographed overall. I feel like this movie was inspired a lot by anime, especially during the fight scenes. Most of the time, the gods looked like regular but taller humans fighting, but then they would sort of power up and get these awesome gold suits of armor that would basically enhance their powers. Additionally, when Set steals Horus's eyes, it kind of reminds me of Naruto, if you've ever seen this series, where basically there's these group of ninjas out there that have these special eyes, and they're always sought after, and they're actually end up stealing each other's eyes. So they literally just kind of go in and just pop them out and then put them in their own head. And I watch a lot of anime, so thanks for making me feel at home. Obviously, don't go into this movie thinking you're going to get some sort of crazy, amazing cinematic experience. I enjoyed the film, but I seem to be the minority of that group. But for the type of movie that it is It's extremely creative and I had a lot of fun. I think the biggest issue this movie had was having such a high budget in the first place. I feel like these types of movies just work well on a lower budget. The studio has to be more creative in how they shoot the movie, and it comes off very unique feeling. In this case, because the budget was so high, it just felt like crazy Hollywood, type of effects with not a lot of substance involved. But what did you think? I enjoyed the movie. Did you see the movie? I don't think many people have. It only made about $14 million thus far that it's been out. But what did you think of the movie? If you saw it, let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video. And as usual, feel free to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, if you want to get more of our amazing content, feel free to go to madmazreviews.com, where we have not only movies, but anime and television reviews as well. I look forward to seeing you next time.
Now, if you will excuse me, my plane leaves shortly.
You are going on a quest for knowledge?
No, I'm going to visit my mother in Miami.